Hello, it's The Big Picture. Arkin, I had a bit of a divine moment last night. It's amazing what sitting on a seawall looking into a warm spring night's air will do for you. I actually walked away feeling pretty good about myself, and all the world's problems seemed to disappear.
Well,
Isn't that great?
when you look into the abyss looks back into you.
Right.
That's what you felt.
I felt the abyss looking at me. Well, the abyss...
How was it like? Let's talk about it
Well,
a little more.
it was...
What did you do?
Well, I had this little, not a poem, but a few lines I said to myself. I just sat on a seawall near the calm sea around about 10:30 last night, looking into the emptiness of the sky. And I just sat there. And I didn't think of anything, but looked at the formation of kind of clouds, if you like, but just about visible. And I just walked away from that after about 15 minutes feeling totally at ease and relaxed with myself.
What you're describing is called repeating a mantra while meditating.
Well, yeah. Why couldn't I just make it sound so simple like that? Yeah. Okay, I did a mantra and I felt good about it last night.
Really good.
Felt really good.
I'm happy for you.
And now I'm raring to go. How are you? How did you find your last night?
Well, last night was divine for me as well. Because every moment is divine. Because that's why it's called a present. Because it's a present for you to unwrap and unravel the beauties in.
Right. I've got another question for you. And I thought about this last night when I was walking back home. Do you think if it wasn't for the Romans, life wouldn't be as hectic or as corrupt as it is today? I mean, we're running out of everything. We seem to have pulled everything from the earth's...
Why Romans?
Well, they invented the wheel. They started the ball rolling with,
Who invented the wheel?
The wheel, the Romans invented the wheel.
Come on.
Yeah.
It was prehistoric.
Romans.
Not really. You can't blame the Romans for that.
I want to blame the Romans. I think it's the Romans. If the Romans hadn't invented the wheel and had all these other great ideas, then maybe life would have been still, a lot easier than it is.
Well,
in the sense of industry
there's a very nice saying in Turkish. I can't really translate it. I can try. If my auntie had mustache.
My auntie did have a mustache.
Well, did she have balls as well?
I don't know.
Then she would have been your uncle.
Yeah.
It's all speculation. Let's come back to the present, the now, the divine now.
Okay.
Without the balls and mustache.
Yeah.
If it weren't blah, 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 it's just speculation.
Sure.
Well, you can blame everyone else for your misfortunes. It's the old world's coding.
Do you know, it's quite
There is no more victimization on this planet.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that is the thing. That was one of the first things that actually came into my head when I was walking home feeling at peace with myself last night. I wonder if the Romans hadn't have done this, we wouldn't have been in such a
bloody
catastrophe.
Romans.
Yeah, right then. Okay. So some good news for the future, though. Audi have created a so-called green diesel fuel made using a combination of water and carbon dioxide. The car manufacturer described its breakthrough as the fuel of the future, and it claims that it can actually provide a carbon-neutral way of powering vehicles. Audi has already begun using this new e-diesel to power the official car of the German minister, and the minister, who was the Minister of Education and Research, by the name of Johanna Wanka.
He's a German.
Yeah.
He can't be a wanker.
He is in German. But obviously that must mean a totally different thing than it does in other parts of the world.
We started so divine. Let's begin again.
Rainer Mangold, who's the head of sustainable product development at Audi, said, in developing an Audi e-diesel, we are promoting another fuel based on carbon dioxide that will allow long-distance mobility with virtually no impact on the climate. Good news.
Well, actually...
Is that too late?
Not too late. It's just another way of selling cars. Why are we insisting on these carbon-based fuels? It's so last year's technology. It's very outdated. We're using really, really breakthrough stuff technology-wise that is working on 100-year-old electricity power. Why? There has to be new power, as Nikola Tesla said, which can be harvested for free from the universe itself.
Yep.
And this would make all these manufacturers irrelevant. But why would they be irrelevant? Because they would not be able to patent anything and sell.
No, I can see what you're getting at there, but if you look at how we've polluted the atmosphere, the ozone
Actually,
layer and
the
so on.
guys who invented the new diesel fuel
Yeah.
have polluted the atmosphere with their 6-liter engines.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
V12s, whatever.
So now they're, good, they're doing something about it. So, yeah.
They're not doing something about it. They're just doing something else to sell.
What I'm trying to think about here is now they're starting to doing other things which maybe are now more friendly to the environment. We're looking at ways of we're running out of water, we're running out of this and that and the other. With a little bit of thought and technology, maybe we can overcome our problems without having to look for another planet to live on or go underground. We've caused the problem. Surely we're going to have to get ourselves out of this.
Well, there's a physical phenomena called inertia. The inertia doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It just with entropy, which is gravity on this planet, it just decreases. And this technological advancement in sciences and industries and stuff, that is an inertia without consciousness. It just moves forward until it hits an unmovable object.
Yeah, until it
immovable
stops dead in
object
its tracks, yeah.
hits
Yeah.
an unstoppable force. Then they decide to get over it without thinking what it is going to cause. And I remember seeing those mushroom clouds. That is the end of a testing for the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Why would anyone invent something like that? That's the question. Then they turn around and say, this is the new alternative we found for our corrupt pollution process. I tend to think there's an agenda. Because usually the scientists don't ever stop. They just produce something until you give them something good.
Maybe this is just pulling a blanket over everything while people are like, hey, Audi are doing a good thing here.
It's
The
not
Audi cars
only
are
that.
great,
They're just doing what they're here to do. They create new technologies, just like a machine does what it does without questioning it. Why don't scientists question the ethics of it? And then the answer would come, because there would be no advancement otherwise. I think there could have been advancement. I'm not on the ethics or ethical side of it. I'm just talking survival ability of this species on this planet, because it's been hindered by the technology. And we didn't ask for any of these. It has been given because it's been sold to us.
Sure, but surely if this is an agenda in some way, surely it's a move in the right direction.
Well, hemp fuel is the right direction to go. If you're
Which
talking about fuel.
we have spoken about before in one of
Yes,
the
and
broadcasts.
the real solution would be to completely turn away from carbon-based fuels and the entropy, the combustion energy. It should go.
Why is that not so? Why hasn't some bright spark said, hey, hang on a minute, come on, let's scrap this. Let's get down to this here. This is what it's all about.
I told you, because it can be patented, it can be sold. What can you sell? You can sell something that ends. When you sell something that doesn't end, you have to sell it for really high amounts of money.
So it's a case of, sod it, let's just wreck the planet because we can't control this.
Exactly. The free energy is what it is called. Free. That's why pollution will get you clean air in a jar. Just like the CEO of Nestle said, it's not a human right to drink
Absolutely.
clean water. Well, there's a very good saying by Confucius about it. Fuck you.
Which gets straight
I
to
will
the
not
point.
repeat it.
Right then, bad press. Okay, so now we're talking about bad press, aren't we? So let's move on with Facebook. It's had bad press. We were talking about Facebook maybe a month ago when we had a piece on one of the broadcasts about it being blamed for people getting divorced and so on. And we were saying, well, okay, it's there. It's there for you. Social media is showing you can do this, but it's down to the individual. If you want to do it, you do it. If you're not, if Facebook wasn't doing it, you'd still do it anyway. Yep.
It all boils down to one thing. Whole life is one thing.
Yep.
Choice.
Sure. Now, but what about this? French teenagers allegedly are challenging each other to a game of 72. 72 involves vanishing without telling friends or family for up to 72 hours. A girl of 13 disappeared for 3 days and claimed to have done the dare. 13 years of age. I mean, children are on Facebook who are not even 10. Impressionable. They get into games like this. Yeah, this is like calling...
Who are we to say that we know better? Consequences and anything that may come up are in our minds. These guys, these youngsters, they are individuals. Mm-hmm. And they are the new generation, which is called the crystal generation, the Y generation. Why are they crystal generation? Because they are here to not care about anything. My generation obliterated all the rules that have been put down by the generation before, preceding yours, which you were born into, but not a part of.
Yeah.
I was born into your generation, but I'm not a part of it.
Yeah, sure.
And these guys are born into our generation, not a part of ours. They just do not care. And we
Not a good attitude
think
to have, though, is it?
we think we know better because there are predators out there that can harm them.
Yeah, but surely we are wiser, obviously, and we know what the dangers can be. And we were talking before we came on the broadcast, Arkin and I were talking about another aspect of Facebook and the social media, and the internet in general. Policing it, it's impossible.
No way. If you go down on anything and try to ban it, try to stop it at all, you will be trying to push down an inflated balloon in a swimming pool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll just come up to surface or just burst. Censorship is that and that only.
It does make you wonder then, doesn't it? You know, if you look at social media, you look at the way things are going, you talk about the new generation who really don't give a monkeys about what, I want to do this, I'll do this. I mean, I have seen this happening with teenagers time and time again. Sod you, I'm doing it. People now don't even ask their mothers, Mum, I want a tattoo. Girls of 17, 16 go out and get a tattoo, suffer the consequences later.
What consequences?
Well, the wrath of their parents, basically.
It's not a consequence. It's the martyrdom.
The martyrdom. It's not right for kids to be subject to this. There's the story of the cry wolf, where you cry wolf so many times. In the end, nobody believes you. I'll behave yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. When you could need help and attention, and you're disappearing because of games, and you disappear because someone's got you.
Again, this here would actually be the parents parenting, because they think they're doing the right thing for their child and being overprotective at times.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
these guys don't realize that they can be really, for real, harmed in this 72 hours. 72 hours is a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
They would be considered missing after 24.
Yeah.
And the next 48 hours, they would move mountains.
Total anguish, yeah.
And why is this happening? Because they do not really know what they're doing means for their parents.
Yeah.
Everything is given on a silver platter. And the rest is just their imagination.
Doing it for the moment, yeah.
Doing it for the thrill of it. But is fear really the solution to this? No. Is prohibition a solution to this? Very well, no. I think there's only one choice. Talking to your kids as if they were adults. They're not adults, but they are individuals.
To be honest, with all the children I know, they become adults a lot earlier than you or I did.
Exactly.
No
more childhood. That's why they stay kid-like, but they are adulterated.
Very early age.
Very early.
Yeah. I think it's the internet that's done this.
Not only that, it's the whole culture. The whole culture of consumerism that has been
commercialism.
That has been going on via internet. Internet is not it, but it's a part of it. A huge part of it. It's the backbone of it.
Right. Let's then move on to an article which I was briefly read, called Total Recall by Indigo Child Matthias Di Stefano. How does the universe work? Does good and bad exist? Blah, 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 blah. And he goes on to ask another question. Did Atlantis exist? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is also I read this week on the subject of Atlantis, a newspaper story had this story about old magazines which were found dating back from 1875 to 1895. The contents are full of theories and discoveries, and here's one. The discovery of Atlantis. With so much exploration underway, the ancient legend of Atlantis was revisited by learned men of the Victorian era, keen to learn its true location. A zoologist called Charles Emile Blanchard believed that at some point within the human geological period, the region of Labrador in Canada was once connected to Europe by a now subterranean link of land that ran from Scotland through the Orkney and Faroe Islands, to Iceland and Greenland.
The human memory has been wiped clean, for sure. This is another conspiracy theory, of course. I cannot prove it. Yeah. But if you think about it, if you just indulge me and try to think according to my point of view here, this is not the first incarnation of humans on this planet, because this planet is a little older than the Bible says, some billion years.
Yeah, just by a few billion years, mate.
Come on, you can't really argue with that.
No, sure
right?
you
It's
can't.
been
Of course you
written
can't.
in a book. It has to be right, right?
Yeah.
No, not right. Another Confucius saying comes here, but I will not talk about it.
Is it more words of wisdom like before?
Yeah, very, very much. Sage wisdom. And those few billion years are said to have housed 5 or 6 more. This is the 7th or 6th. This is the 6th. So 5 more generations that have reached the culmination of culture and technology as we are approaching. But we are approaching on the darker side. Atlantis, they are told to have found out about the universe and technology, as we would call it, magic today, on a very different path.
Please, can I just stop you right there, because I have another bit of information I want to put in right at this point. www.worldmysteries.com. Ancient Indian aircraft technology. Many researchers into the
Vimanas,
UFO
you're
enigma.
talking about Vimanas, right?
Yeah.
This is from very, very near future, near past. It is from Mahabharata, the Indian epic. And the Mahabharata is one of the first epics known to men. And it talks about
Flying vehicles.
It's not only
Flying
talking about
vehicles.
flying vehicles, it talks about vehicular warfare in the sky around the area of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah, when scientists, when they excavated, they found out that the earth was petrified, as if it were exposed to high temperatures of nuclear explosion. This really rings a lot of bells here.
Wow.
Mahabharata talks about an aerial warfare between gods that are driving on chariots of fire, and Vimanas, very, very detailed descriptions of flying saucers, which then were put to life and rebuilt, according to conspiracy theories again, by Hitler. And that's why his ranking generals vanished, they say. And he himself did not commit suicide, but he himself vanished, as they say.
I heard that story, yeah.
And Vimanas actually have been redone by a smaller model by an American, not American, maybe American. Anyway, by a scientist of this earth. A working model has been done that works on magnetism. And we go back to the fuel side of things. We should really be looking for alternative energies, alternative sources of energy.
Yeah,
that does not include carbon, because carbon is the old world. Crystal is the new world.
But as you mentioned before, we won't be allowed to do that because it's not controllable. It's not taxable.
You are not going to be allowed to release it to public. But a company has built Tesla.
Elon Musk is
Tesla batteries. Those batteries can get you off grid. Off the grid. Going off the grid, electrical grid, is illegal, by the way. In our country, in Turkey, and in America.
I would imagine in most places it's illegal.
You cannot produce energy via wind turbine. It's illegal again. You have to give back that the very much amount of energy that you use back to the circuit, the main grid. Why? Why? I'm not using your energy. You have to be taxed.
Of course
for
you
that.
do. Of course you do.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can talk about all this stuff. You can watch history channels, Ancient Aliens. They have really dug deep into this Vimana and Mahabharata stuff.
As you will see, as you're listening to this on screen, you will be seeing links to websites.
You really have to see the screens I'm looking at. That's why I keep asking which screen. We have 3, 6
I wasn't
on
talking
this side.
to you. I was talking to the people listening.
6 on my right side, 6 on the left side, 12.
3 in front of you.
3, 4, 5. 5 here. So if it's
not on any
12,
of these,
5,
is it?
17, 18, 18. No, oh,
19,
wow.
21.
19,
21.
21 and
23 behind. Two big
23 screens, and he says, you can see it on a screen.
No.
Which one?
I'm talking to you, not him.
Anyway, all this stuff, they have been connected to what Matthias said. There's a whole different story to our history. Our memory has been wiped clean, and that's why we've been trying manically to rewrite it. That's why we've been trying manically to find out who created the fucking universe. Who?
One day,
No way.
we'll find out.
No way. Not in this understanding.
Maybe we'll find out for next week's broadcast.
Well, maybe. Just
See what I
like
can-
just like Buddha said.
See what I can dig up.
Let's see what you can come up with. But you have to really look into the agnostics' view of the creation cycle. Genesis story is really is talking about a masculine God, but on the other hand, the rest of the universe is talking about a feminine creation, a feminine creative power. That's why God is feminine in the agnostics story. You should really find out and read about it. I'll give you the links to it, which you won't see on the screen, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. But until then, please do listen to what Matthias says and try to fit it in this perspective. The perspective is that history is written by the winners and winners only, and we are not the winners.